Yeah, we won the jackpot again. We got a trusted house sitter sit in Australia to take care of two super cute dachshunde for 3 months. Here is that video about trusted house sitters in Australia. And yes, I only heard it, I didn't see it, but I just looked at the video I just recorded, and Peachy went in there. So the cat is in there now. Okay, so we were house dog sitting from October 31st, 2025 until January 27th, 2026. We already got the confirmation for that sit in July 2025. And they told me they have bodyboards I can use. Bennett's Beach is about a 8-minute car drive away from their house, and we were also allowed to use their car. So super fucking awesome. Paul used to live in Lepton, Huddersfield in Yorkshire, England for almost 5 months, and we've been traveling and living in countries where they drive on the left for a while now. He drove cars and scooters on the left side before during our Nomad life, so no problem for him. And while we were in Australia, he also got a international driving license. Anyways, unfortunately, I've been chronically ill now for years. Here's the first video of 4 how I got treatment on a second pituitary gland tumor. So I've been dealing with crazy weakness for a long time. It gets so bad that I can't walk or barely move anymore. I need help from Paul to even get to the bathroom, or when it's really bad, to even sit up. I can't even sit up by myself. I told Paul I want to bodyboard as much as possible in Australia, and I was so worried that I barely would be able to. And yes, of course, when we arrived, I was dealing again with bouts of weakness. After we were settled in, I wanted to go to the beach. Let's go Monday. I was way too weak. Okay, let's go Tuesday. Instead, we were at the doctor's. Not the doctor, but Paul told me I should double up my DHEA. I've been taking DHEA for a long time now, and I really need it so my hormones are better, my DHEA and my testosterone, that they get up to normal levels. Without my DHEA, you can't even measure my testosterone, it's so low. So he suggested to double it up. So I was on 25 milligrams per day, and he said I should take 50 milligrams. He also said in the last 3 months I got worse with my hormones being out of whack. So I took the extra dose of DHEA, and on Wednesday, November 5th, 2025, we went to Bennett's Beach for the first time. Of course, I totally sucked with a bodyboard. I was also practicing just to sit on it. And fuck, that's hard. But hey, I was in the ocean in Australia with a board. I was so happy. Suddenly, my ears started to hurt. I was wondering if that came from the autophony I've been having since May 2025. First just sometimes, but when we arrived in Australia, I already had it every day for a while. Autophony is when you hear yourself talking, like echoing. And when it's really bad, you even hear yourself breathing. And no, it doesn't hurt, or not yet, I don't know if that ever hurts. It doesn't hurt me at all, but it's just so fucking annoying. So, but the first time at the beach, so my ears started hurting and I got out of the water. Of course, I was freezing. Yeah, November is still considered spring in Australia, and it can be chilly. So I put towels around me, sat on the board on the beach, and I was so fucking nauseous and sick feeling and so dizzy. I thought I'm gonna throw up soon. I didn't, but it was really, I remember it was so bad. Luckily, it went away, but what the fuck was that? Was that something, I don't know, the water caused it, the motion in the water, me trying to bodyboard? I don't know. It was so weird. So since then, to this day actually, I keep taking 50 milligrams, oh my gosh, not grams, of DHEA instead of 25 milligrams. And already then, just after some days, I was doing so crazy much better. So the next day, we went to the beach again, and I could even catch more waves. But after Paul spotted some seals, still very far away, but he was afraid they come closer to shore. So after he spotted those, I got out of the water. Where there are seals, you don't want to be. There are, or will most likely be, sharks. We saw in the distant back, fin pointing out of the water, a seal that was turning. The third time I went out on Saturday, November 8th, 2025, the waves were much bigger. The ocean was much rougher. Not like crazy huge waves, but Paul said that's not for beginners anymore. I shouldn't go. But I'm at the ocean. It doesn't look that badly. I have a board, I feel good, I'm going. I just couldn't get out past the waves. Paul tried to explain to me what and when to do, but I was just too weak. I couldn't go past the waves, so then to be able to catch one. But I thought I'd still try to get some practice in, to get a better feeling of being in the ocean, being on a board, dealing with waves. I didn't have any expectations. So last time I was out there, my feet hurt so much from the shells in the sand, on shore, but also in the water. So I was like, fuck it. And I just started wearing my black compression socks. And also sometimes my fins over the socks. I fucking love it. Yeah, we bought many more compression socks with animals on them in Singapore. Here's the video, Trusted House Sitters in Singapore, the community, where I talk about them. So anyways, because I only wear, I can actually maybe show you without tipping over. Here, you see, my compression socks with the animals on it, and I wasn't wearing the black ones anymore. I thought to give them away or whatever, but no, so it was perfect for going into the ocean. I didn't want to wear the animal, the cute ones, the socks, to go into the ocean because I didn't want to ruin them. But just black ones, yeah, hell yeah. And they probably kind of looked like a seal with my black legs. Anyways, there I was in the ocean, fighting and fighting. And of course, a wave totally hit me and I got tumbled with the board. Almost all of the boards don't have a leash anymore. The boards are old and the leashes broke off. So I lost the board and the second wave hit the board against me. Fortunately, it didn't hurt, but almost immediately after the first tumble, I got tumbled again from the second wave. Hey, that happens, no big deal. Yeah, it's a bit brutal afterwards. You just stand up, brush it off and go back into the water. In Switzerland, where I grew up, there's no ocean nor the sea, but I've been in the sea and the ocean before. I've been into much rougher water than that one. I've been hit by waves before. I've been tumbled before. But then, before, I wasn't chronically ill. Then I wasn't a pituitary gland tumor survivor. Then my hormones weren't fucked up yet. And just because I doubled up my DHEA 4 days earlier, I can't expect to have my previous strength and stamina back. So after I got tumbled those 2 times, I was done. I couldn't even stand up. I was so weak after the waves hit me. Paul got the board out of the water for me, and I just tried on all fours to get out of the water. Paul said, you're done for today. That's it. Stand up and get out of the water. I still couldn't stand up. Not being used to fins also, yeah, I was wearing the fins and it was even harder to stand up with the fins on. Eventually, I did get up and walked out of the water, but sat down as soon as I knew I was safe. The water still got to me where I was sitting, but barely. But yeah, I couldn't walk far. I was so weak. Like, fuck, it was crazy. 4 months before we arrived in Australia, I wanted to start to get ready for bodyboarding in the ocean. I looked up exercises for surfers at the gym. I tried to go swimming in Singapore. Unfortunately, I didn't have the fins then yet. So I went swimming, but without the fins. And I really suck swimming with fins. I didn't know how. But yeah, so I wanted to prepare, but you can't prepare much when you're chronically sick and you can't stick to a hard program. But at least after that brutal hits by the waves, I knew, I'm not gonna lose my fins when it gets rough. Because we ordered the bodyboarding fins on Lazada in Thailand. And yes, one size smaller than my actual size, because fins need to be super tight. But even though we ordered one size smaller than my actual size, they are too big. And Paul thought, with my socks on and then the fins, they're gonna slip off. But after getting tumbled from those 2 waves, they were still on with my socks. So that was good. So from then on, I knew I don't have to worry about losing my fins. So after a day of ocean rest, November 10th, 2025, around 10:30 a.m., we went to the beach again. Paul said it looks worse than last time. I'm smart. I know it would have just been a helpless battle. I didn't even try. Instead, I was just trying to outrun the waves like I did when I was a kid. and I just tried to run on the beach. It's so hard. I'm not a runner anyways. I don't really like running. And on the sand, of course, it's so much harder to run. But I had fun. So after some non-ideal days, on Sunday, November 16th, everything was perfect. Except that it was a Sunday, so there were many more people on the beach and in the water. But November is not tourist season yet. It wasn't bad at all. Anyways, it was 28 degrees Celsius, the waves were a perfect height to learn, and some of them broke very nicely and no rip currents. I got in there and caught one beautifully, but I was so crazy exhausted afterwards. Just one wave and I'm out of breath. Still, so fucking weak. You get one wave and you're basically done. I finally decided to take the fins off. I'm so not there yet, and for now, they are just tearing the energy out of me. Yes, it was much better without the fins. I still kept the compression socks on. Such an awesome idea. The shells on the ground didn't hurt me at all anymore. They actually really hurt when they get stuck in the fins, the shells. And that happened so often. Finally, I was able to catch some waves. But after each wave, I needed rest. No, not because I'm old. 41 is not that old. I know 60-year-olds that kitesurf, skateboard, are beasts in the gym. Oh, no, don't give me that shit. You are old now. But yes, I had many times where my body really felt like 90 years old. I was so happy on that day and at the same time so sad. I didn't care how much I sucked. I sucked at so many things I tried in my life, but I didn't give up. I used to be crazy resilient. I just tried again and again and again and again, ignoring soreness, tiredness, and pains. I've been chronically ill for years now, but bodyboarding made me realize it even more. And there were days where the conditions were perfect for me in the ocean, but we didn't make it further than the parking lot. All I could do was hurrying to the public toilet to get rid of some diarrhea, sit on the bench and wait until IBS cramps and nausea wasn't as severe anymore so Paul could drive us home. It also didn't help wearing the swimwear shorts that are way too tight when they're dry. When they're wet, they're perfect, so they don't slip off, so I don't lose them. But when they dry, they're way too tight, and having those on with IBS cramps is really no fun. Other days that I planned to go to the beach, I didn't even make it out of the house because I was way too sick. Other days, I was at the beach and I was feeling well, but the conditions were way too rough for me, so I didn't even try. And when I wasn't sick and at the beach and I finally had perfect conditions, or close to perfect, I was too fucking weak. But hey, it could always be worse. I'm tumor-free, doing so much better than 7 months ago, and I was in fucking Australia. Yeah. And Paul just increased my DHEA again. So every time after I was doing sports, I was taking an additional 25 milligrams to the 50 milligrams that I was already taking. So you remember, I increased it from just 25 milligrams a day to 50 milligrams a day. So every day I'm taking 50 milligrams a day. And then after I was doing sports, I was taking an additional 25 milligrams. So 75 milligrams a day. But only when I did sports, I increased it even more. So even though I do complain, I'm not complaining about my life at all. I am so lucky. I am so grateful. I mean, look at my life. I have such an amazing, awesome life. And I'm doing so much better health-wise than before. So I'm not complaining about my life. I love my life. I absolutely love my life. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay optimistic.